Y'all country much? What my little project is this is some fitting I'm unfamiliar with right there. And this will not go on there. The threads are radically different, even though that's trying to bite. They're supposed to look like that to fit this piece. Difficult one-handed. That's what I want. That's a cam lock. It's simple, easy to do. The gasket is caught inside of the other piece, the female piece, very well. These I'm not so familiar with. I'm not really liking that. There's a loose gasket that'll go right there that in my opinion I'm going to lose over time. It goes like that. There'll be one here. So my plan is rebuild this and rebuild this with plate steel, and I have more fittings. This will be simple enough. Basically a flat plate with that welded to it. This is aluminum, this is irons, and that's aluminum. So there's no problem between the aluminum threading onto the iron, but I can't weld the iron to the aluminum. So I'll need to make me something similar to this little 3-bolted, 1, 2, 3-bolted situation. And for the top, Lord, that's heavy. And for the top, I have something that looks more like that to replace this portion. And I may have to go ahead and cut something like this out in it so that I've got a way to prime it. I don't know. It's supposed to be self-priming, but you need to be able to put the water in there. And this little dish out area, I'm sure, is so that you can pour water in there easily with a bucket or what have you. Make it easier. There's no gasket down in there besides the gasket between the two pieces. That'll be easy. This has a little flap. I don't see that being a problem either with me just making another piece of that and welding the iron to the iron with the 3-bolt hose and the 4-bolt hose. I have some plate steel about the thickness I'd want. I think this is probably 5/16, possibly a quarter, not sure. But basically make me 2 plates. I've got more of it. Make plates out of that to correct. That was my bad. When I ordered that, if I'd have ordered it the way I need it, I wouldn't be doing this. But it's more hassle to try to take this back. I don't want these fittings. They're not what I want. I like the cam lock. It's a lot simpler. Maybe get them off, and we'll mark them out and prep them for cut. Pretty simple. That's kind of heavy, and it's on one-way valve, check valve, what have you. Not a big deal. That does go on a certain way. It's got a it's slightly beveled, so I'm assuming that goes to the bottom. Something to be aware of. I don't think it's a big deal for what I'm doing. That keeps it from backflowing. I don't think that's going to be a problem in the way I'm doing it. And that's pretty simple. It'll be a flat plate made out of that and cut to fit this piece, which is incredibly heavy for what I've cut in my hand. It's quite a bit larger too. It's going to be tight. That one goes like that. This one goes like that. With the gasket, of course. I'm satisfied to use this straight edge, and this I'll dress up and clean, so it It doesn't matter if it's slightly larger, the width of that, it's not a big deal. Most important part of this is going to be that my bolt holes are where they're supposed to be. All that steady. Hold my pin as vertical as I can. Make my circle. And that should be my center. So I like that. That's what we'll cut first. I can always go just outside my line. It's not going to be a problem. It's going to hang over. It's not a big deal. It's going to match more of the gasket. I don't know if you can see that. There's a tiny line in there from the milling process. Tiny line in there. If that's up, I don't see it being a problem. Turn this over. It's not in the bag. That's dross from when it was cut. So I think that's ready. I'll cut that out. Bore my hole. I think I'll bore my holes first and then cut it out. This is a favorite little tool of mine. One-handed is a little bit of a trick. Makes me a small divot. I can start that with a tiny drill bit. A 1/8 I found is pretty handy. I got both hands free and I can see a little better. Oops, jump sideways a little bit. You can always walk it over if you need to. If the first hole isn't where you want, angle it a little bit, and when you start, you should be fine. I'm going to over drill them a little bit. You want them slightly larger, so you got room to manipulate the piece. If you just drill them perfect size of the bolt, if one of them's off a fraction of an inch, you're not going to make it work. That's commonplace in anything you touch, anything you work on. There is room for you to make adjustments. Over to the tape, over to the drill press. All right, we're going at it with a big bit first. Big bit fine. As it starts to go through, make sure you got a firm hold on it. If I turn it off, I have better luck with getting that point directly in that divot. If I used a pre-drill bit, we wouldn't be having that problem. It didn't appear to walk. If you go through, it's a delicate process when you go through. Alright, now I've got to adjust it in a way that hopefully I'll miss. See, I've got a problem there. I need to be here. And I'm over there. I can probably make it, but if I drill through, I'll drill into my table. So I keep old scrap wood block around. Same thing. I'm going to bring it down, make sure my point's right in that divot. Looks pretty good. Feed rate and speed are a major thing with your drill bit. You should be producing chips the whole time. If you're not, you could be burning the tip up. The last of these 4 holes, that's on my money. Pressure's on. Drill it, keep your chip. Very nice. See if we need more hole. We need more hole. That's not gonna work. It won't fit any one of them. More hole time. Fine. See my wood block? That's so I don't drill into my table. This bit I thought was, yeah, it just slips fits. It just slip fits the piece we took off. So that should work. Now I could cut this out with a side grinder with a cutting bit. I could use the plasma. Not a big deal how I cut it out. I'd like for it to be nice and clean and finished properly. So now my bolts fit. That should work. It's not much thicker than that material. If it's thicker at all, maybe about the same thickness. So that'll work. If I have to, I get longer bolts. Not a big deal. In full disclosure, these two holes need to be wider. So I've got a burr. We're going to try that first. This is treacherous. I do have on glasses. The treacherous part is working in a hole with a bit that fits the hole. Now all four bolts are finger tight, so we've confirmed we should not have a problem. I'll use them to find my center and protract that out and prepare to cut the hole for that. Drafting 101. That's my marking tip. I'm at the back of the hole. This does not matter too much. It does matter that that's tight. I'm at the back of the hole, and then I'm at the back of the hole. You draw a line from there to there, straight through. That's this plane center. I'm at the back of the hole, and the same thing here. And then when I cross them out, that's as close to center as you're going to need to be. This isn't in the world, but if you're on the board, that would be perfect. If you knew where this dead center was, that dead center, when you did that, it would be absolute center besides what margin of error there is in your handmanship. That's it. In full disclosure, you could have went from center to hole, center to hole, center to hole, center to hole. Now I need to know from there where to set my compass. Roughly 3.5 wide, no matter how we measure it. So that's 1 3/4 is half of that distance. Pretty close. If I made a center point, that would be nice right there. Now my little tip's got somewhere to ride and stay. My leg keeps sliding back. Lean your compass into you, just a little into your direction you're turning, you're drawing. See how we did. There's 10. That's 3 5/8. I'd rather have that because get that on 10 so you can read it right. 3 5/8 is not going to hurt me. It'll give me room to put weld once it's cut out. I get nothing off of this. That just happens to be a gas welder 55DS, looks like. I've used this to cut up to 5/8, everything up to hard ox. Cheapest one you can find, okay? There's probably better brands, I don't know. It gets the job done, I don't know why I would complain. I've got on sleeves, gloves, I'm gonna have on face shield. I didn't know in the beginning how treacherous this was to look at. You shouldn't be looking at it. I'll get somewhere comfortable. The rust does mess with it a little bit. Like you can see it's rusty here, but not there. Got the light behind me, my shield's got dust in it. It makes it very difficult. That's one washer. Hitting that. Pushing back on me a little bit. Of course, it's hotter than blue blazer, you'd imagine. Well, all that's left, clean it up, get closer to my line. I'll grind sand it to that, and then weld it to it, and hopefully everything will work. We'll see after a minute here. All right, I've decided to go this route. I'm going to use the nipple. That's a 3-inch nipple. That's what that's called. It will raise this, give me more room for the bolts. Now, that would work. I'm not saying it won't, but being able to thread this on and off should be beneficial in the long run. So I kind of like this method better. Flux core, I can't tell you what I'm set on. Looks like wire speed on 50. This is a Miller-Matic. It says vintage, and that's that's exactly what it is. It's vintage. All right, let me get my gloves too, because I don't want to burn my hands up. I see people welding without cover on their arms. It it burns me up. So personally, I'm not down with that. Make sure you're looking. There you go. Got a huge gap on the other side. A little hot. Drop it one. If you don't know, that start and stop allows it to cool off. Tacked in multiple locations. It will draw. It's not going to be much. It's sitting on a face under here. It's decked down. This is decked. It should be protruding 90 degrees forward up. I found the problem. Fresh spool in. Of course, you should know how to do this. If you've got any inkling to do this, you should already know how to do that. It's not complicated. Fair. All right. Turn it back on. Wire feet wide open. Come to me. See if it'll come through the tip. I feel it. Come through the tip. Back down on 50. Feel it? Gloves, I don't like getting burned up. You'll see people TIG weld sometime without gloves. I don't know if that does as bad or not. This right here burns me up. I'm not going to it. Turn the heat up a little bit. Something was wrong with the way the wire was feeding. Corrected after I got enough through there. Yeah, that's pretty damn hot. Over there, I ain't gonna be back over there. Going around as much as I am because it's got to be watertight. See that? He didn't even clean that slag off. He just welded right over it. This is country mud, not welding 101. We bubble gum stuff together. We're certainly not 60, 61, or even IC Weld, or Melton Middle Anthony. I watch y'all. I learned from you. I may not apply it, but I learned from you. Cornfield Custom. Of course, he's using gas. He's using 2 MIG. I'm using flux. Always cuts that wire. I only caught him like twice in the video not cutting the wire. I rarely if ever cut the wire. By the way, that pipe is extremely hot. It's hurting some. There we go. See you drop. I'll never pass 6G. Oop, I shouldn't have done that. I'll never even get to 1G. You know there's no one talking about. Alright. Well, that's but ugly. But I'll wager it'll hold water. Anything sticking below that's not even a problem. Let me see, can I can tighten that up on that good as beast steel. I'm not inclined to even fool with that. I think that's gonna be fine. We're gonna see what we can get. Yeah, I got a bite on it. See? It'll stay there for a minute. Shoulda. Woo. See that? That could be flesh. Well, it is flesh. This long since gone. Old boy told me it gotta be, well, I ain't got one right now, smooth as a wedding band. It'll be in the marsh, you see. That's gonna be hot. I need something to prop on. that won't let me get burnt. I agree. Let's cut that off. Come on, Bill. Okay. Uh-oh. This is necessary. Believe it or not. Where am I going to next? I don't want it in my way. Let's put it right there. How about that? Cut that off again. Stop. Rotate. That's it. Don't fit ground clamp. I always fit ground clamp. Foolishness, I guess. Good. Cornfield. I don't even know if it's necessary. On flux, somebody tell me it is or no. Ready? Go. Uh-oh. Hole right there. I'll never pass. Try it again. All right. Hey, some things, if you know how to do it right and you do it wrong, you was wrong. If you don't know how to do it right and you did it wrong, you get by. It's not pretty. Between this side and the other side, I do believe it'll hold water. I'm gonna grind it down. Look at that little hole right there. That's terrible. That's mud dog bit too. Mud dog bit you go with. No gloves. Oh, clean. All right, this one. Didn't clip the wire, cornfield did not clip the wire. Hades for me. Well, that one's about ready. I'm not touching it. Whoo, boy. Yeah, nice and warm. I do need to pull that down. That was excessive buildup. Excessive reinforcement. It's got a nice thick gasket. It's a really thick gasket, and I'll be plating the whole edge, so there's a lot of the internal of that. The other thing is shaped such that it flows better. Mine will not flow as well as that. Battery. There it is, prettied up. If you happen to know any welders, married to a welder, or just know someone, apologize to him for me. It's still kind of warm. I don't know if I want to put it on that gasket yet. I think I'll huff it off with air pressure. Either way, now we're to this. Note to self. While that's coasting, don't get your glove near it. So, now we got new gloves. That's sad. Alright. That's that one. That was probably the easier one. It's not some triangular shape. Not that the other one's going to be beyond comprehension. There's two oblong holes. Let me find them. Those two I had designed to go in the back and tri-fitted them there, and they worked well. As some of you know, I was going to weld this directly to that, but now I'm going to thread it on. I'll probably have to get it like I want it first. See, it's not going to hit that. I'll still thread this on first with some thread tape. I will probably point it out this way because it's impossible now to point it that way or the other way without hitting one of these bars. My other pump, it took hand trucks or two guys to handle. This one, I mean, yeah, that's got a little weight to it, but that's one-handed. I mean, I don't have oil in it or gas in it, but that's not going to add enough that I can't handle it. Like I said, I think before I tighten that down, I'll blow that off till I know I can touch it everywhere with my bare hand. And that'll be about ready to put this on. That is heavy, extremely heavy. And I've got another nipple, what goes in the front of it. Well, it'll be like so. That'll thread into it. And it'll be stuck out something like that. That's the discharge coming out the top. The inlet goes in the center. It works like a, we call them squirrel cage blower. See if that turns in there. See if we can see that rotor turning. Round and round she goes and blows the water out top. That's one down. Let's make sure it's ready to go ahead and bolt it on. Thread tape. Thread tape goes on righty-tighty. Round and round to the right. Round and round to the right. If you put it on backwards, it'll wad it up as you put the fitting on. You'll see in just a moment as I start putting the fitting on. It's going to go the same direction I'm turning that tape. Going on. Yep. It's not going to cooperate here. One more turn. It needs to point that way. My bias is not locked down. I don't like to lock it down because this thing's so old and irritating to get free. Bad loose though. Okay. That might suffice. As long as it don't leak. I don't know if it will. Alright. Such as that. Well, it's going to add a little bit of weight to it right there. Not much, but enough to say, hey, you just added some weight to that. There we go. Yeah. It's taking. You don't want any of these hard to get in there. You'll wish you hadn't. Strip something out, especially this iron into aluminum. That's iron of some kind. And the housing is aluminum. Alright. Let's see here. The welding did deform that, but not enough I think it's going to be a problem. I can tell it turned it up. It shrunk in the middle is what happened. It actually feels like it might have shrunk those holes up just a little bit. Again, I don't think it's enough to hurt us. Not going to help us, but it ain't going to hurt us. Okay. For this, I think I should do it by hand so I can feel what's happening. If I do it at impact and it's cross-threaded, bam, I will have a problem. Let me get you a little sit stool here to sit on. Watch this. is tightening. I don't know if I'll get this. This is kind of off position. Could use a shorter socket maybe. But as you see, it's going down fine. Now this side. I hope that's not thicker. We'll find out just in a second here. Yeah, bottomed out. Let me see. I think I bottomed out before I got here. Feel like it. A little bit of gap. I'm gonna have to have a washer on them, or this isn't gonna work that way. All right, this is what we found. I found 4 washers, almost the same. Well, I may never recover if they're not all identical. And 4 of them little round ones, just plain round ones. These are half broke, them's whole. If I had 2 half broken, 2 halves make a whole, everything be right. Let's see if that'll do. Do I need all of that? I might need all of that. I think that's, yeah. I think we're gonna do it that way. A little flat washer against the base, lock washer against the bolt, put it down in there. Look there. I think that's gonna do it. Flat washer against the base, lock washer, split washer against the head of the bolt. We're gonna try this, see if I like it. I may not like it. I can't stand it if all the fasteners don't match. It gets under my skin. Now then, that one don't want to start. We're gonna try it though. Put a little pressure on it. Oh yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Look out, y'all. That slips, that just protects the stripping, right? Click. AVE says, click. If I mention somebody on here, it's a name you ain't heard of, or maybe you have heard of them. Go check them out. YouTube is your friend. You can learn anything on YouTube. Even mechanical engineering, right? Now then, let's see, we need to tighten this up. Yeah, I'm gonna booger the threads, I know it. Y'all get over it. Let me get this back here. See how bad I'm gonna do this. You gotta know. Yeah. You gotta know how bad it is. I really think that's enough. Now then. Teflon go righty-tighty. Round and round we go. One of these might leak when it's all said and done, but if it does, pull it back apart and fix it then. That's called cam lock. This is more what firefighters use. It's not the threads. This is some weird, tiny, close metric thread. I don't know. You ain't finding it nowhere around my parts. I'll just say that. What I'm putting on there is common pipe thread. MPT, National Pipe Thread. It's that common. The entire nation uses it. The nation of America. United States, my bad. America is the continent. United States is the country. It is insensitive to think we run all of America. Alright, there. I'm satisfied with that. Next thing I need to do is make that bottom a little triangle shape. Hold with me.